Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mini Paint and Chill, where I Mini Paint and you chill. Today, we're going to be testing out the new P3 range. I don't know how long I'm going to paint for. I'm having a really odd mental day today, so I'm just going to work on them. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. And then we'll get started with it. I'll probably have a video coming out. I was going to do it this month, but I don't think it's going to happen. So probably next month while I'm out of town. This will probably be the last stream of the month. We'll see. I'm doing a class this weekend in Las Vegas that I am anxious and excited about. But yeah, before I get started with that though, quick few things to get out of the way. One, if you aren't already following the channel, please do. If you have the financial ability to consider subscribing. If you're watching this on YouTube, hi YouTube, please subscribe there. It's free. If you'd like to financially support me other ways, you can purchase something off my website, wheelersminis.com. Other than that, if you want to follow me on my socials at Wheelers Minis on pretty much everything, I would really appreciate it. YouTube's the one I'm trying to grow right now. Almost at 100 subscribers. I'm really looking forward to it. I got some stuff that's coming out soon that I'm super excited about. I just got to get it in and shoot the video for it. So be sure to check it out. I have loads, like hundreds of hours at this point of content on there. So please check it out. But yeah, so today we're just going to be working on nothing really. I'm just going to be testing out these paints, some of them at least. So this is a new P3 range from Steamforge Games. They bought out Privateer Press, who I believe was the previous owner of the P3 range, and did a Kickstarter for the paints. Apparently a lot of people have been liking them, so I wanted to give them a try. I backed the Kickstarter. I think it's official. I have too many paints because I have these and I've got the Chimera inks that I am going to be testing out too. And there's a lot of paints. There's, I think, 50 paints of these. I'm not going to use all of them today. I will probably do a in-depth review of them. They normally come in dropper bottles. I paid the extra like $1 per to get the pots. I know people are weird about them, but I wanted to give them a shot because being able to put my brush into a pot and get a small amount rather than accidentally squeezing too much seems appealing to me. As you can see, they're all already opened because I added mixing balls in there so that they would mix properly. But this is the hobby set. I don't think this is the full set of their paints. This is just about 50 of them, which I mean is a pretty good range. And like I said, I'll be doing an in-depth video later, really going through all of them. The reason why I'm not painting anything specifically is because I don't really have anything to paint. I've been kind of stopping doing printing as much until I can work through some of the models I already have. So I think today's just kind of going to be fairly simple. I do have the Trench Crusade model that I'm considering doing, but I need to pull up. Yes, lieutenants. That is exactly what I needed. Thank you. So they have like reddish hues. So we're gonna paint up this lieutenant for Trench Crusade. He's got this gnarly shield on his back, which I think I'm going to paint red because the helmet is also red. And that just kind of makes sense to me. So that's what we're going to do. And then it's like drab, which luckily there's some really nice drab colors in here. I just got to find them. I've got gold. I am going to try their... So here's a red that I'll consider using. That's a good one. It's like a Fatigues gray-green. It's a little darker than that. Trader green, greatcoat gray. And I don't want to mix them just yet because I want to give them a chance to do what they do best. This might be a good pick. Like I said, unfortunately there's just a lot of colors that I got. And I didn't really need all of them. And I'm sure my wife will remind me that. We're going to do Cold Steel definitely for that. Maybe that color. Bastion Gray might be a good choice as well. And then ooh, this Gun Corpse Brown actually pretty good, and it's the right color, so I'll probably go with that. Gun Corpse Brown, and then he's got some. So I got gold, Boiler Black, Deathless Metal. Those are my metallics. Probably go with gold and then just stain it down. Olive. Ooh, Jesus. Sorry. Surprisingly, only one red. Weird. Oh, so we're just gonna give these a shot. Like I said, they don't come with mixing balls pre-mixed in. I did that myself. It's pretty smooth, which is nice, seemingly. This is how it looks over white. Probably just a little watery because I put most of it on the palette. I might paint more on that later. This will probably be my go-to, get the paint out of there. And we're gonna do chipping effects on this probably, as one is wont to do. All right, so this is our first look at the new P3 paints. As I'm going to state in the video that I do, my comparison is going to be directly to the Army Painter Fanatic. One, I believe that is what I would consider the kind of like standard. I'm not going to say it's like the best because I'm sure there are better paints out there, but it's the one that I use most often, so that's what I have a frame of reference for. but that's going to be our kind of comparison point. So anytime you see me comparing, I'm being careful right now. Anytime I'm comparing these paints, it will be a direct comparison to the Army Painter War Paints Fanatics. So far, consistency is pretty similar. The flow is pretty nice. The opacity is pretty good. Mind you, this is directly out of the pot, so I would hope it would be a little bit better. Yeah, the opacity is pretty good. It's not the best I've seen. I'll probably need to go back over with a secondary coat, and that may be due to my own issue. Flow's pretty nice. The opacity, like I said, it's all right. It's definitely at least for the red that I'm using, it's at least a 2-coater to get a solid, good, like, opaque layer. And mind you, this is a base coat, so maybe this kind of lack of opacity would be better for layering. For what I'm doing right now. Going on, okay. Color very nice. Whatever pigment they're using is nice and vibrant. And again, anything I say about it is just my opinion, it's not law. And I could have a bad batch, so it's nothing against the company if I say something bad about it. This is just, I'm doing my best to give my unbiased opinion. And I bought these myself, so no sponsorship or anything like that, just me buying paints because I thought that they looked cool and I wanted to be a part of the hype. Yeah, it's a pretty standard primary red. It's not the color is very nice. It's not, you know, overtly punchy, but it's also not dull in any way. So far so good. I think I better get a brush though. What's the next part? Not one thing like that. Alright, school brush. If I was going to run a Trench Pilgrim squad, I would run, or Trench Crusade squad, I would run Trench Pilgrims. What I was trying to say. Or New Antioch. Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. What's going on?
Well, I'm streaming right now, so if you want to talk to me, we can...
I'm so
No, it's okay.
Well, I assume you don't want to talk about your feelings while you're streaming, so I can let you go.
We can talk about my feelings while I'm streaming.
Is that something you want?
Why not?
What's going on today?
Don't know. Just having a weird, anxious day. It's
Do
okay.
you know what, like, kind of anxiety you're feeling about because of?
Generalized?
Yeah. Just like, you better watch out. You better watch out. Kind of
Yeah.
way?
Yeah, I'm just also feeling weird about my artistic expressions today.
Why? What kind of fear? Like, you don't like it, or?
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of it.
Well, art is subjective, and sometimes you might not like it, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just usually that you gotta take a step back to it and come to it. It's the same thing with, like, you know, working. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not gonna make good content. So it's always best to, in those moments, kind of take just like a little step back. I know it's a little different when you're actively streaming, but
Well, I'll probably just do a shorter stream today, but it's just, I think it's like the anxiety of being like, you know, I paid for this class coming up and I don't want to not have the motivation to paint while I'm there.
I get the experience that you want out of it, regardless.
That's fair.
I think that it's the same thing as being a kid before a field trip or before a big move or anything like that. It's like this thing that you've been planning for and you've been very excited for, it's coming up until you're anxious about it. I was anxious about the fucking work trip and being like, I don't know if my shit sticks up or hold the candle to everyone else's or and it made me anxious. It's a very normal feeling that you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it any, you know, less fun to deal with, but
I don't know.
I think unfortunately, as long as you don't cancel it, you still go, it's going to be a good time, and you will surprise yourself with how much you get out of it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Ugh. I am very wet.
And like the
raining at the beach. And everyone like ran away, and I was like, hey, let me get some pictures. So I took some pictures and videos in the rain. It was really cool.
Yeah. I'm testing out those new paints that I got.
That's exciting. How are they so far?
I've only used one color so far, so. But they're all right. The consistency is really nice. It's just the opacity is not great. So I'm just finding myself having to go over multiple times, which like it can be. That's why they recommend you do 2 thin coats of things.
I just feel like if I want very minimal experience, you have to take that pathetic cost.
Well, it's just depending on how you paint. Some people like painting in a way that, you know, 1 coat is enough, and that tends to be my style of painting. It's not very patient, but it gets the job done quick. Which I'm working on it. Yeah. Yeah. It's not bad though. Like it's relatively nice. Yeah.
Was that the one you've been waiting for a while?
No, not the one that I was waiting a long time for. Those I'm gonna work with later on. These are the ones that I put all the mixing balls in and stuff. But I just wanted to try them out and get some small amount of B-roll. So far they're fine. Like I said, just different. I think is the biggest thing that I've noticed.
I don't think it makes sense that different things. Different.
Yeah. So what's the plan for the rest of the day?
We dig it off, and we're gonna do like kind of like a milky, sexy, like nylon shoot. I don't know if we're streaming. Because certain issues keep happening. So.
Some of the stuff we talked about.
Yeah. Like we were all at the beach supposed to be shooting together, but the whole time certain people were on the phone.
Wild. You'd think that, you know, if you paid to be there to work, you would be working.
Especially with someone who's about to move across the country and is trying to get a lot of work done right before that. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. But, you know, relationships can be a lot sometimes.
They sure can. For no good reason. Okay. Sorry, I was on the phone with my wife, as you probably heard. So far, I'm actually really enjoying these paints. I think they have a really nice finish to them. The opacity isn't necessarily the best. Also, some of this is probably going to be metal, but I'm just getting a base coat down. But I really like the kind of satin finish it has. So if that's something you're looking for in a paint, this is definitely for you. But yeah, the finish is really nice. Again, the opacity is not the best, especially when you're trying to work with thinner coats, so you're not just globbing stuff on. And originally I was gonna practice or test this out with like an actual Steamforged game model, so like a Malifaux model. But I don't know where mine went. I had a whole bunch of them, and then we moved, and I don't know if I donated them or what, but I don't know where they are. But yeah, so far, I mean, it's a really good, it's a good color. The colors that I've used so far are really nice, and I feel like they are at least somewhat different enough than some of the colors that I have that like I will probably continue to use them. We're probably gonna go until 7 Mountain Time before I call it quits, because I am just kind of, believe it or not, actually enjoying doing this. I think I just needed to talk to someone about my woes, and my wife has a way of making me feel better, even if it's just talking to me. So yeah, so far really good. Not really any complaints. We'll see how that continues. The Battlefield Brown's a really nice color. I like that one. I really like the Guncore Brown. It's like a nice kind of like greenish brown that really fits, I get this, Guncore style. So I like that. The Khador Red it's a great primary red, but it's the only red that I got, at least that I can find on here. I kind of wish there were more reds, but I have a bunch of reds from other companies that I will probably use more. Bastion Gray is also a really nice kind of like greenish gray, but more like gray. And let's see, what other ones have I used so far? I think it's just those few. Yeah, the Guncore Brown is probably my favorite color so far. All right, but now we're gonna go with Flesh. Oh, I did Jackbone as well. That one's, it's all right. I mean, it's a bone color. It's kind of hard to mess that up. I'll probably be washing these to give some grime to them, weathering. Grab a quick drink of water. Sucking down paint. I'm basing this off of the official artwork, or some of the official artwork, because I don't have, creativity's not flowing right now. They have him as being extremely pale fleshed, so I think I'm gonna go with that. I just have to find the flesh tones. So I've got Midland, which is a pretty bright flesh. I thought there was another one. There's the Scorn Flesh, Cardic Flesh, but I think this is the highest flesh. You got Devout White. Oh, Rin Flesh. This one's the highest. And I do like the fact that they've started to put like the, instead of being like this color, it's the actual color. So like neutral light brown is the bootstrap leather, which I really like. Pale light skin, neutral warm skin, like stuff like that. But yeah, we're gonna start because I want to be able to highlight this. We're gonna start it with the Midland Flesh. And again, if you hear mixing balls, I added those in. They do not come pre, at least in the pots, they don't come pre balled. So I probably don't need that much paint, but oh well. A lot of really nice blues, which I'm really excited for, and then some like greens and olives. I also want to try this Umbral Umber color, and then their Pride Coal Black. Probably try at some point as well. Oh, but let's get, we did Midland Flesh, I believe. I'm just getting like a small coat of it on the top so I have an idea of what it looks like. Again, you can kind of see with this is just straight out of the pot, no extra water added, and it's a little watery, so, and that could be my fault and they're not mixed up enough, but they seem to be going on fine. So all right, this is the fun part. Just have to be very careful. The best advice that I ever listened to was work to the strength of your brush. Brushes naturally move in a downward motion when using them, so turning the model to make sure that the tool that you're working with is at its most optimal position is imperative to good painting. What we're doing here, just moving the model around to make sure that the brush is moving in a way that helps highlight its strengths. Also helps that this one has a nice point to it. So here's the thing. So far, I am enjoying working with these. My negatives are that they're not very opaque in their application, but the flow is very nice. And arguably, this could be the lack of opacity could be actually a positive. Because it forces you to go back over your work. Be patient. which I think makes it a great starting paint set. But again, I've only used so many colors so far, so I can only speak for the colors that I've used. Not the biggest fan of the red, because I think that there are better reds. And again, because it's the only red, it kind of means that it sticks out when it's not good. But browns, I really like. Greenish browns, I really like. Grays. So far, I like. The colors that I've used, the only ones that I don't really vibe with right now are the red. One that I really like is the Guncore Brown. And the satin finish again is kind of nice. I do like it. Let's try that umber. Nice, like really dark brown. Strong black brown. Yeah, it's a really nice tone. Gotta say, the browns are really calling to me, but that is a color that I use quite often, so dog bedded that. I have strong feelings about a color that I use more often than others. Yeah, I like that color. Pretty good. And he's kind of blonde. So we'll start out. Ironically, the Guncore Brown would work really well. But I think we'll start out a little bit higher. Oh. Let's scorn flesh. There's a strong medium skin tone. Being tedious about the details now isn't necessarily the biggest concern, but because again, I'm just testing out these colors. But inevitably, I'm going to want this to look like a complete model, so... Yeah, I think, I don't know if they have any washes. At least I didn't see any, if I recall. So... Looks like these are also red. But they did send with the set, they did send like a cheat sheet for a triad system. So I'll have to look at that, see what they recommend for certain colors. Because the colors are a little light. It's ironic because got the scorn. They are very pale, but their hands are out more. Also sickly skin, and flesh. Oh, and Quicksilver. So we'll probably do Cold Steel, but they do have Quicksilver as well. I thought they had one. The Cardic flesh. That's what I'll do the hands in. I almost forgot to do. Good dummy. Because their hands are... things that are getting the most sun. No, wrong one. So they have the ability to layer, but I would say that their ability to layer is not as good as some other paints, at least from the set that I got. Which, with 50 paints, you should be able to layer pretty well. And it might just be, you know, the colors that I have so far just aren't layerable. I mean, especially for the red, which only has one in the set. But again, having, you know, this is my test run basically for these, so. That's just so far what I've kind of noticed about them. Let's try these metallics. So for the metallic, we're gonna go with cold steel first. And for these, we're gonna test specifically like how fine the mica or aluminum flakes are, smoothness, etc., things like that. Looks pretty fine. sure. Enzo, Pineapple, Apple, copyright. Doesn't say. This is the cold steel color. Application's pretty nice. Goes on very smooth. There's a nice consistency to it. Levels itself out pretty nice. I like the color on it too. It's not, crazy bright, but it's also not too dark. An actual steel tone. Flakes are, again, small enough to where isn't too much of an issue. It's a good color. And I don't know if they have plans for certain things later on. Might change this to a brass buckle actually. But maybe a darker silver. I know the boiler black is there, and that's like a actually read what it is. So far though, with just a single metallic paint for reference, I do like these. They're nice and smooth, they've got good application, and whatever metal flake they're using is very finely ground. It's a nice shine to it. Deckless boiler black is deep dark black silver, so actually that probably is the color that I should have gone for to start, but oh well. Maybe he'll be a new recruit, new to his lieutenant duties. Yeah, I don't know if there are any washes in this line, but could probably use some. Do a quick scan to see if I missed any metallic. Cold steel, quicksilver, solid gold. This is deathless metal. This is gonna be like your deep bronze gold tone. Start this handle out as buckle. Just consistent. And just for hits and shiggles, we'll try out the gold as well. Gold's pretty nice too. Like a rich gold, not too bright. Honestly, a pretty solid gold as well. I like the tone of it. Metals are on point. I do like them. Oh, goodness. And I do not care about the NBA finals. Thanks for updating me there. I guess we're trying all of them. Let's try boiler block as well on the gun, because it's going to be like a gunmetal. But yeah, if it had like washes, ooh, this would be a great set. Yeah, I like the finish on these metals kind of more than most of the metals that I have. I think it's just smoother than most metals. Which I really like. Yeah, it probably would have been better to start that out with the deeper. Under figure. Question is, I really want that little hand grip to be. Guess I'll make it this as well, and I can make it my own later. Alright, there's our guy fully base coated with a little bit of extra detail added. I really like that gold. I think it looks really good. All the metals look really, really nice. These might be my go-to metals. I wish there were more. But yeah, honestly, like, I'm not upset with it. It's a really nice range. I think that it's really good for mixing colors, but I think that it could use for some more variation. And you definitely need to use washes with it. I think it's a big thing. Because there's not enough tones on here to get you a good shadow tone for some colors. And again, this might just be because of the set that I have. There might be more colors that I just don't have that would fix the problems that I have. But I'm only able to give you my opinions on the colors that I do have. So, you know, pardon me if they're not %100% accurate. But yeah, I really like, I do like some of the colors. I think it's got a really good foundation for what the paint is. The opacity isn't great, but honestly, it makes up for it in consistency and its flow. And again, I only tried 15 of the colors out of the 50 color hobby set. So like when I do a more in-depth video, I will kind of go through the consistency of most of them. But I'll leave that for another time. Honestly though, just happy to get some work done. The time went by a lot quicker than I was expecting it to, which is really nice. Yeah, and I'll be glad to kind of get some more work done on this and then get in kind of on a base. I'll be my second Trench Crusade model. Most work I've been doing recently is on this guy, but I need my wife's eye for this one because I'm stuck. I'm trying to figure out what it needs, if anything. He's almost done though. I just need my wife's eye because they can see things sometimes that I can't. And then that lovely little creepy deer creature I'm super excited about. That's gonna look good too. But I think that's gonna do it for me. I'm gonna take a good break because I've got 2 full days of painting this weekend at a class that I'm taking. So like I said, that's going to do it for me tonight. Another shorter episode. I'm trying to go the full 2 hours, but sometimes I just don't have it in me. And this week I've been a little scatterbrained. So I appreciate if you came to hang out. I hope that you enjoyed this kind of testing of this new paint set. Some of this will probably be in the video when I edit it for the full kind of range testing. But yeah. I think it's a really good line. It's got some really good colors in it, and the finish on the paint is really nice. Teaches patience really well. Smooth application. A little less opaque than I would like, but you know, they're just bringing it back. So yeah. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Great weekend, and I will see you probably next week. We'll see. Keep an eye on my socials for things, but yep. Have a great night. See you later. Bye-bye.